Blacks take over school, force whites to pay for slavery in disgusting way with their urine. Thanks to Obama's race-baiting antics over the past 8 years, we now have full-fledged race war raging in our country as white people are being savagely attacked and persecuted simply for the color of their skin. Liberals are making matters even worse in recent months, as they're now actively pushing for segregation, as black-only restaurants, graduation ceremonies, and campus housing is being established, as leftist loons continue to make all whites pay reparations for 5% of the population owning slaves 200 years ago. But now a group of rabid black racists have completely overrun a publicly funded college in Washington state, and what they're forcing whites to do as a way to pay for slavery is so vile, it will make you convinced who the true racists in our country truly are. Over the past several weeks, Evergreen College in Olympia, Washington, has been making headlines after a series of disgusting videos surfaced of the terror that black students and liberals were inflicting on white students and teachers. You might recall the story about a month ago where black students organized a day without whites on campus where they were forcibly removing whites from campus, going from building to building in gang-sized elements screaming alarming racist-filled tirades into white people's faces, demanding that whites immediately vacate the campus. But disturbingly, a day without whites was just the beginning of these domestic terrorists' complete takeover, thanks to the university president George Sumner Bridges, who is a rabid liberal himself, continuing to let black supremacists completely overrun the school. Now it's being widely reported that whites are now unable to the bathroom without having a black liberal escort, in what sounds like a page straight out of a 1930s Nazi-era story. Watch the clip starting at 3:22 for the part about the bathrooms. It essentially sounded like you were being held hostage there, the interviewer says to one white person on campus. If you were going to go to the bathroom you had to go with 2 escorts. Is that true? There is absolutely nothing being done to stop these rabid black supremacists who continue to take out their vile and disgusting hatred and rage onto white faculty members and white students. White professor Brett Weinstein, who was cruelly targeted by a horde of about 50 blacks and liberals who ambushed his classroom, recently spoke out about what he was forced to endure, as the liberal media continues to praise this disgusting act on whites as social progress being made, as they continue to label this reverse racism as reparations that must be made for whites owning slaves 200 years ago. In a recent interview with Wall Street Journal, Weinstein discussed how he was viciously targeted. Racially charged, anarchic protests have engulfed Evergreen State College, a small, public liberal arts institution where I have taught since 2003. In a widely disseminated video of the first recent protest on May 23, an angry mob of about 50 students disrupted my class, called me a racist, and demanded that I resign. My racist defense? I had challenged coercive segregation by race. Specifically, I had objected to a planned day of absence in which white people were asked to leave campus on April 12. There is a huge difference between a group or coalition deciding to voluntarily absent themselves from a shared space in order to highlight their vital and underappreciated roles, and a group or coalition encouraging another group to go away, out. On a college campus, one's right to speak, or to be, must never be based on skin color. Could you imagine the outrage of black students at a college were being held hostage and prevented from going to the bathroom without a white escort? Why does a double standard exist in our country? Why is Harvard University allowed to hold a separate graduation ceremony for blacks and no one bats an eye? How is it that separate housing is being established just for blacks at Colorado State University and this type of segregation is deemed acceptable in our country? Or a cafe on campus where whites are completely banned from meeting at, as is the case at the American University in Washington D.C. It's absolutely outrageous what is going on in our country. Whites are being victimized, demonized, discriminated against, segregated, bullied, terrorized, and now unable to use the freaking bathroom, all while liberals continue to assert this is somehow civil rights progress. Martin Luther King Jr. must be rolling around in his grave right now as what he fought, bled, and died for is literally being flushed down the toilet by those rabid blacks and liberals, who have no freaking idea what being an American even truly means.